Nation of Fit in 10, welcome to day 7. We are officially 1/10 through the challenge, and I'm going to remind you that this challenge goes by super fast. And if you don't believe me, just ask one of every 2 people in this challenge, because they've done it before. We have over half of the people in this challenge, or about half the people in this challenge, have done the challenge before, and they will tell you it goes by super fast. So you got to take advantage of each and every day. Reminder, we have a Zoom meeting tomorrow at 10:30. All right, if you don't know the details, the meeting ID and the passcode, look in Slack. It's under the announcements tab or channel. Announcements, It's under the announcements channel, okay, hashtag announcements. Yesterday, I started to talk about why it's important to get in, quote, enough calories in your diet when losing body fat. And of course, I'm speaking more long-term. Short-term, if you, like I mentioned, if you had a photo shoot or an event or a vacation or whatever, and you just wanted to get fat off as fast as possible, and you had whatever, 4 weeks, and I'm giving a specific timeline because if you had a long period of time, you might run into problems. Let's say you have a short period of time, sure. Let's, and you don't care about what happens afterwards. Let's be a little more dramatic and let's decrease the calories more and maybe do a little more energy output. But for the sake of having a sustainable system, we want to keep in as many calories as possible while still losing a decent amount of fat. Okay, and as I mentioned yesterday, the reason for this is we want to keep the metabolism as inefficient as possible. That means we want to be burning as much energy per day as possible. We don't want to burn less. We don't want to eat less and burn less. Like what? That's just like spinning your wheels, right? I mean, you're reducing your food, but then your energy output's going down. So it's like you reduce your food, your energy output goes down, and it's like, oh, I want to create more of a gap. Okay, reduce the food more. Okay, metabolism goes down. And it's just this like constant, and you get to the point where you're absolutely starving and you have very little food to work with, which kind of brings about my next point, but I don't want to go there yet. So let me give you an example. Let's just say, for instance, you are burning 2,000 calories per day. Okay, now you might think, I don't burn 2,000 calories a day. Okay, well, some of you are burning more than that. Some of you are probably burning that. Some of you might burn a little bit less than that. But you are burning that much. Well, I shouldn't say you are, but you're burning more than probably you think because there's so many factors that play a role in in your total energy expenditure for the day. And we'll talk about that in a later video. So let's just say, for example, it's 2,000 calories and your calorie input for the day is 1,700 calories. So we've got a 300 calorie gap. Your body wants to take that 300 calorie gap and it does want to close it, okay? And the bigger the gap, the more it's going to want to close it, because I don't know if this is really the best way to explain it, but this might be perhaps the reason. It may very well be a survival mechanism. The body wants to survive, it wants to conserve mass. It sees that there's some sort of famine happening. It's not getting in as much energy as what it's used to, and signals go off. Let's reduce the body's inefficiency, right? Remember, we want to keep energy inefficiency high, right? Inefficiency being we're burning a lot of energy. Efficient would be burning not so much energy. Okay, so if we've got that 2,000 calories, and let's just say we reduce our calorie intake to 1,200, now we have an 800 calorie gap. And your body's not going to close that gap all the way, of course, and it's not going to close it some amount right away. It's going to take some time. So in the short term, you're going to lose more fat. In the long term, it's not a good solution, because as I've already mentioned, you're going to lower your metabolic rate. At least to some degree, you're going to. All right? So now, here's another reason why you don't want to do that. and I touched upon it already, and that is whatever food you're eating, whatever amount of average energy you're having per day, if we lower that amount and your body, quote, gets used to it, you have less food to work with. I mean, what are you going to do? Or what can you do if you want to lose more fat, if you plateau? Because eventually you will plateau. What are you going to do? You're going to take away food from very little food. So it just becomes very painful, and you will not last. You will not last. I'll say it again, you will not last. And then eventually you will just add more calories, and now you have a lower metabolism, but you have more calories, and it just becomes a fighting battle. This is one reason, and I'll talk about this more in detail, this is one reason why yo-yo dieting, typically speaking with yo-yo dieting, people tend to get fatter over time. The more times people diet, the fatter they tend to get over time. And I want to remind you too that a little bit of a deficit adds up over time. Okay, so this is another reason. We want to think about sustainability. Obviously, you're just a reflection of what you do. You are just a reflection of what you do. So whatever you're doing, you got to keep doing if you want to maintain what you've got. And the digging adds up over time. So while you may not get what you want in a couple days or a week or a couple weeks, you will over time. And that's what we want. We want to get the most, well, okay, given everything I told you, we want to get the most out of the most, right? We don't want to get the most out of the least, because we don't want to have little to work with. We want lots to work with, and I'm talking again about food. The more food we have, the more we can work with, okay? And a general reminder to you, I'm going to say it again, you need to weigh out all your solid food. You need to weigh out all your solid food. And I got this question yesterday. Somebody said to me, well, what do you do when you go out and they're asking me specifically, what do you do when you go and you say buy a sandwich? And I'm like, I don't. Okay, I don't do that. I know I'm not a normal person this way, but I'm asking you not to be a normal person as well for these 70 days. You are not to be normal for the next 70 days, okay? You are not to be normal. That is, you are going to weigh all your food. You're going to be an unnormal person, all right? Or maybe normal is not the right word. You are not going to be your average person in this way, okay? Okay, you're not going to be the majority of people for this challenge, all right? In this regard, you're going to weigh everything out, and believe me, it makes a difference. You need to take advantage of each day. You want to make sure you get that deficit every single day. Get all your numbers too. There's a happy medium, okay? Less is not better, okay? And also estimating's not better either, okay? Obviously, because then you don't know what you're doing. Weigh everything out. Okay, message of the day. It's 8.5 minutes. I don't want to get this video too long. The message of the day on this day 7 is this is a process. This is a process. So it's not about sprinting. Think of it as an ongoing activity, or perhaps an ongoing, it's a marathon. It's an ongoing marathon. And therefore, we need to be strategic in what we do. We need to be methodical, and we need to be patient. Patient and not extreme, because this is all about the long game, all right? This is a process, all right? I will see you tomorrow in our meeting at 10:30 Zoom. Check out the announcements channel in Slack, or look at your email, because I did send out an email. I think it was on Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday. Send out an email with the Zoom details. Okay, I will see you tomorrow. See you guys.